Hi, this is a lesson by Mr. Martin in the Algebra 1 class. It's in our book on section 1-2. It's about order of operations. So this is similar to what you would have had in pre-algebra, but with a step up. And I usually teach the same thing in pre-algebra, and that is we remember Pemdas. So you probably heard of Pemdas before, P-E-M-D-A-S. And a way to remember that mnemonic is another mnemonic, and that means please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. And what please excuse my dear Aunt Sally or PEMDAS means is the P stands for, as you may recall, parentheses or other grouping symbols. The E stands for exponents. The M stands for multiplication. And I'm going to move the D down here a little bit. That's a little confusing, but I think you see what I'm doing. The D stands for division. The A stands for addition. And the S, I'll move down here too, stands for subtraction. And what this is the order in which we do things in evaluating a mathematical expression. We first do any parentheses or grouping symbols. We then do exponents. We then do multiplication or division. These are equal priority. While we say multiplication and then division, it's actually whichever is first leading from left to right. So if the division came before the multiplication, we would do the division. If the multiplication comes before the division, we do the multiplication. And then we do addition and subtraction after any multiplication or division. Again, addition and subtraction are between them are of equal priority, and it's whichever comes first, reading from right to left. So let's go through. Let's go through a little bit of exponents first of all, so you remember exponents, because I know you have had exponents before. But exponents is we'll take some number which we call the base, and we raise it to a power, and so we could raise this to the fourth power. So this is the exponent here, the fourth, or we're saying we're taking 2 and raising it to the fourth power. And this means 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. And if we were going to simplify this further, 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. So 2 to the fourth simplifies to 16. So that's a little bit with exponents. And now we're going to go back to please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So I can do a problem here. So let's say we have this. This is an example from your book. It's 25 minus 8 times 2 plus 3 squared. Now, we're going to look at that and say, okay, what do we do first? Well, it's PEMDAS, and so I do any parentheses first. Do I see any parentheses? No. So then I go to exponents. So I do have an exponent, so I'm going to do that. So everything other than the exponent, I'm just going to write down the same. So I get 25 minus 8 times 2. I haven't done anything to that. Now I get the exponent. This is the one I'm going to do first. And we have 3 to the second power. 3 times 3 is what that means. And that's 9. So now I have this. So now I have my next expression to simplify using PEMDAS. No parentheses again. no exponents now because we've taken care of them. Now we're going to do multiplication or division, whichever comes first. And what comes first here is, this is subtraction. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do the addition. There is no division, so I'm not going to do the addition. There is no division. I'm going to do this multiplication right here, 8 times 2 next. So I get 25 minus, because I'm not doing the subtraction now, 8 times 2 is 16 plus 9. Okay? And so now I'm back to Pemdas. It's please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. I'm going to do addition and subtraction now. I have subtraction first, so that's what I'm going to do because they're of equal priority. And so I'm going to do 25 minus 16. I'm just going to go over here and go 25 minus 16. 1 there, carry that 5 times is 9. And so that's just 9. So now I get 9 plus 9. Now I only have one thing to do, and that is I have 9 plus 9, and 9 plus 9 is equal to 18. So that's our first example. Okay? Now what I would like you to do now in your book on page 10, I would like you to do numbers 1A through 1D. Okay? And we'll pause this now, or if you're working at it yourself, do those and pause those, and then we will go over those. Okay? So now, so you should have paused that. Now you can go back to it, and I'm going to do it. I have 1A is 6 minus 10 divided by 5. What I'm going to do first is this part, the division, following Pemdas. So I'm going to go 6 minus 2, and then 6 minus 2 is 4. So the first answer should be 4. For B, I'm going to go 3 times 6 minus 4 squared divided by 2. I'm going to do the exponent first. So I got 3 times 6 minus 4 squared. 4 times 4 is 16 divided by 2. I then have some multiplication, subtraction, and division. I'm going to do my multiplication next because it's first going from left to right before division. And so I have 18 minus 16 divided by 2. I'm going to do my division next. So I have 18 minus 16 divided by 2 is 8, and 18 minus 8 is 10. I'm going to go on to C, and problem C is 4 times 7 plus 4 divided by 2 squared. Exponents first. I'm going to have 4 times 7 plus 4 divided by 2 squared is 4. Next, I'm going to do, I have some multiplication and division. I'm going to do the multiplication. I have 28 plus 4 divided by 4. I'm going to do my division next. So I get 28 plus 4 divided by 4 is 1. And so I get 29. And then I'll do D down here, and I get 5 cubed plus 90 divided by 10. 5 cubed is, I'm going to do exponents first, no parentheses, then exponents. So 5 cubed is 5 times 5 is 25, times 5 is 125, plus 90 divided by 10. I'm going to do the 90 divided by 10 because division goes before addition. And so I'm going to get 125 plus 9, and I'm going to get 134. Okay, so those are some examples of doing that. We can have one with substitution too. So they have an example of evaluate 3a minus 2 to the third divided by b for a is equal to 7 and b is equal to 4. So this is going to be 3 times 7. I'm just going to substitute these things for this. They were saying a is 7, so I'm just going to do that. Minus 2 cubed divided by b, which is 4. This is going to be equal to now 21 minus, technically I shouldn't have done that yet, but it was okay. I should first do the exponent. 2 cubed is 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 is 8, and then divided by 4. I've already done this. This is the multiplication, which would have come next. Okay? Now I'm going to do my division. 8 divided by 4 is 2, so I get 21 minus 8 divided by 4 is 2, and so I get 19. So that's the idea with substitution or evaluating it, where I substitute in a number that I'm given for a variable. Now, the next thing, we haven't had any with parentheses. Well, we remember Pemdas. And so parentheses are the first thing, or any grouping symbols. So let's say we have this as an example from the book. Let's say I have this. Okay. I'm going to do the parentheses first because that's before any exponents. So I get 15 times 13 minus 7 is 6. And then divided by 8 minus 5 is 3. And then 15 times 6, well, 5 times 6 is 30. 6 times 10 is 60. So that must be 60 plus 30 is 90. Divided by 3. I've done the multiplication before the division. While they're equal priorities, the multiplication here comes first, so I do it first. And so 90 divided by 3 is 30, and that's my answer. Okay? Now, I want you to go ahead and do on page 11 numbers 4a and b. And I also want you to do, because it's similar to just substituting again, I want you to do number 5 on page 11. And that would be 5a, b, and c. And once you're done with that, I want you to go to page 12. And I will do one example for you, and that is we can have multiple levels of parentheses or other grouping symbols. So like on page 12, we have 2 bracket parentheses 13 minus 7 squared, in parentheses squared, divided by 3. Well, what I do is I do innermost grouping symbols first and then work my way out. So I'm going to go 2. I'm going to do this parentheses before this brace because the bracket, because the bracket is outside of the parentheses. So I'm going to do 13 minus 7 is 6 squared divided by 3. Now, before I multiply 2 by anything, I'm going to do everything inside this bracket here. I'm going to use Pemdas. I'm going to do the exponent first. So it's 2. I'm going to do the exponent. 6 squared is 36 divided by 3. I'm going to do the division now within this bracket. And I go 2 and times 36 divided by 3 is 12. And 2 times 12 is 24. Okay, so now I want you to do number 6 A, B, and C, and then I'll check on how you're doing. So with that, I will go ahead and get my mouse here, and I will end this video.